What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. And you know, when it comes to all of these strike videos that I've been doing lately, it's pretty obvious that when it comes to the mainstream media, these guys have sided on one side and one side only, okay? The union, the writers, labor, actors, you know, they don't care at all about the other half of this thing, which is the studios. Every one of these labor disputes, there's always two sides, okay? There's the labor, okay, on one side, and then on the other side, you got ownership, okay? In this case, it's the studios. And now the studios have said, hey, you know what? Let's get a PR firm to try to help us with some of our messaging. As you see on this headline by Deadline, AMPTP brings DC crisis PR firm on board as studios seek to reset the strike messaging. And I think that's actually a really good idea, all right? Because what a PR firm is going to do is they're going to show the flip side of this entire thing in such a way to make it make sense to like the average person, even some of the average people in these unions. A lot of these cats, a lot of these rank and file members of the WGA, they're not happy with the way the WGA has been operating. They're not happy with the way they've been doing business, okay? And a lot of these guys, they see the deals that are being made. They say, hey, let's vote on this, okay? You know, we've seen this in the Deadline comments. A lot of these guys are like, yo, we're not happy with what's going on here. We probably shouldn't went on strike in the first place. You know, can we please put an end to this? It's been over 100 days. I'm tired of eating cat food. I got rent to pay. Like, come on, can we get on back to work? You know? So I think it's really important for the studios as well as the writers and the studios. They have to present their information in the best way possible. The writers, obviously, as writers, all right, they can craft the narrative perfectly. You know, they're writers, okay? I think it's important for the studios to be able to do the same thing, all right? So then everybody is on even playing field, and we can see where this thing is going to shake out. But let's go ahead and check out this article and see what's going on. Coming out of the Public Relations Week from Hell, the studios and streamers are looking for the firm that fought off Pizzagate to help them in the war of words against the striking Writers Guild. Yeah, Pizzagate, boy, what a blast from the past. Y'all remember that? What a time that was. After misreading the room with the release earlier this week of their August 11 proposal to the WGA and the subsequent blowback on August 22nd and the 24th, the AMPTP has hired crisis management specialist, the Levinson Group, a source close to events told Deadline. The studios need better coordination, better messaging and response to the writers and the media, said an industry vet of the companies that literally owned large swaths of the mainstream media. Contacted by Deadline, Levinson declined to comment on her firm's new role with the AMPTP. While current AMPTP PR consultant Scott Rowe and former UTA communications boss Chris Day remain in place for the Hollywood organization, the Molly Levinson founded firm is now on board to reframe the big picture for the studio and streamer CEOs who have been characterized as greedy, imperious, and out of touch over the 115-day picket line battle with the scribes and now the actors union SAG. Yeah, I mean, it has been a one-sided conversation when it comes to this, okay? Because they have been characterized as greedy, imperious, out of touch, all right? Even though Bob Iger was also saying, yeah, these guys are unrealistic too. Okay, you guys remember that? I'll link that video above. That was hilarious, okay? But yeah, it's been too long, all right? I'm talking about 115 days on the picket lines. And it's like, yeah, you guys should have probably already had these guys in place. Because again, Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, Variety, and like, they are going to side with the union. All right, 1,000%. They're closer to talking to these guys on a daily basis than they are talking to Bob Iger and those guys. They said, yeah, the writers have been taken to the street, social media, evening news with flair, passion, and sound bites to promote their desire for new contracts that adequately address 21st century concerns about pay, residual AI, so on and so forth, transparency, all of that stuff, right? All of that stuff has been talked about, bandied about on social media. And basically the studios have just had a couple of clips of Bob Iger saying these guys are unrealistic. And that's pretty much it. But the reality is they actually came out with a proposal back on August 11 that we saw earlier in that article. Here's the AMPTP release with the detailed index. These are extensive details of the August 11th proposal to the Writers Guild of America, comprehensive package which addresses all of the issues the Guild has identified as its highest priorities. The offer recognizes foundational roles writers play in the industry and underscores the company's commitment to ending the strike. Now, let's go over what the compensation package looks like so we can just have a complete understanding of that ourselves. ourselves, all right? So here we go. Here are the highlights of the compensation package. A significantly higher compensation. This is the highest wage increase for the WGA in 35 years, a compounded 13% increase over the 3-year contract with an increase of 5% in year 1, 4% in year 2, and 3.5% in year 3, all right? So they're getting a 13% increase in wages, all right? So that's what they get. On top of the wage increases, a 15% increase in minimum weekly rates for Article 14 writers. This would take a writer from, and here are the rates, okay, $9,888 a week to $11,371 a week for guarantees up to 9 weeks, okay? So if they have a 9-week deal, this is their guaranteed now money. $11,000 a week. So you're basically working, what's 9 weeks? Like a little over 2 months. And you're basically going to get $11,000 per week, which roughly works out to about $100K. All right, $100,000 for 9 weeks of work. Okay, let's continue. For these cats that are working 10 to 19 weeks, all right, you get about $9,476. All right, somewhere in that same range. But again, look, if you get a 19-week gig, you're going to get a little bit more money. And then for those that are working 20 to 29 weeks, you get $8,524. Again, all are 15% increases. This sounds pretty good to me. I can't, say what these writers are dealing with, what's going on in their own personal lives. If this was me, I'd be cool. I'd be like, yep, sign me up. Let's get that. All right, we go on. High budget SVOD, that's streaming video on demand residual increases. Okay, that was the big thing. We're not getting enough for these residuals. We're getting these little 24-cent residual checks, whatever the case may be. Total worldwide, domestic and foreign residuals would increase from $72,067 to $87,546 per episode for 3 exhibition years. Okay, so they're going to kind of increase the total residuals for everybody per episode. All right, so that sounds good. Look, a new structure to train writers to become the showrunners of tomorrow by guaranteeing the length and employment and requiring that at least 2 mid-level writers chosen by the showrunner be assigned to production. What was I saying that the thing that they wanted like writers to get training, all right? To become the next showrunners of tomorrow. They wanted like these giant writers' rooms of 10 plus writers where everybody's just kind of looking over the shoulder of the showrunner and the showrunner's working with them and they're rubbing shoulders and elbows with each other, and they're getting training, which I understand. Listen, I said, hey, make that shit, unpaid internships. All right. That's how I looked at it. But they're saying, no, we're going to structure this out, all right? And we're going to get 2 mid-level writers who the showrunner can choose, and they'll be assigned to production. The AMPTP is committed to allowing the showrunner to select at least 2 mid-level writers to be assigned production who are guaranteed at least 20 weeks of employment unless the production period is shorter. All right, so these guys right here, 20 weeks, all right? And that 20-week was that, what, $8,524. Now, I've already done the math. That's $170,000 a year. So if one of these writers is good with a showrunner and they get this 20-week gig, they're going to make $170K and they haven't even worked half the year. So y'all rejected that, huh, writers? Y'all rejected that. $170K a year for not even half a year's work. And y'all rejected that. All right, cool. Yeah, whatever. All right. Look, all of you cats that keep coming to the comments, oh man, you're just anti-union, and all of this other crap, okay? You say you're not on anybody's side, but you're clearly for the studios. At least acknowledge that the writers are also greedy and they're also trying to get the most out of the deal. That's all I'm asking for, all right? You mean to tell me that $170,000 a year is not enough money for some of the crap that they've been putting out, the woke trash that they've been putting out, and they're getting paid $170K a year? Look, a lot of these cats, they're talking about these mid-level writers, okay? These mid-level writers, a lot of these dudes do not qualify for this, all right? They're not good enough writers to be in there in the first place. But they're still going to compensate them and give them a little bit. And you guys, oh, no. The studios are greedy. Oh, the studios are all greedy. Listen, everybody's greedy as far as I'm concerned, all right? Because what they're getting paid, okay, way more than what they deserve. A lot of these cats have zero business being in Hollywood in the first place, all right? So please, do not gaslight the comments talking about, oh, the poor working conditions, oh, the poor little man, all right? These cats was making bread. A new compensation structure for development rooms. Writers will be guaranteed a minimum of 10 weeks of employment, and for Article 14 writers, the week-to-week pay will increase by 43.8% over the current rate, raising from the $9,888 per week to $14,000 per week. I don't want to hear shit from none of my. Do not come in the comments gaslight me, period. Okay, please, and don't gaslight anybody else reading this shit. All right. Unless you got some firm foundational evidence that this is not a good deal. All right. This sounds great to me. I can't speak for everybody out there. Obviously, there's some writers that probably are rolling around in 3 or 4 Mercedes Benzes and Ferraris. Oh, I need more money. All right. But everybody else is like, nah, this sounds like a pretty damn good deal if you ask me. Landmark protection for writers surrounding the use of generative AI. Look, they're giving them what they want. All right. They're just greedy. Written material produced by generative AI will not be considered literary material. A writer will not be disadvantaged if any part of the script is based on generative AI produced material, so that the writer's compensation, credit, and separated rights will not be affected by the use of GAI produced material. Why did y'all reject this? Why did y'all reject this? Look. Increased data transparency to reflect that the internet has changed the dynamic of the entertainment business. The data transparency that they were asking for, they got that, okay? So now that they can see all of the information, for the first time, viewership data in the form of quarterly confidential reports is to be provided to the WGA that will include the total SVOD, streaming video on demand, view hours per title. This increased transparency will enable the WGA to develop proposals to restructure the current SVOD residual regime in the future. They fucking around, y'all. Okay? Look, the WGA is fucking around. Okay? I'm gonna just call it like y'all see it. Okay? Y'all fucking around. All right? Look, this is a perfectly acceptable deal. And the fact is that they rejected this deal and they just want more. They just want more. Oh, this is an insult. All right? Absolutely astonishing. But again, this is what I'm talking about. This is why they need to get this information out there. Okay? The studios, I mean. They need to let people know, hey, this is what we offered them. Okay? It's right there. They rejected it. And then they said, oh, well, you guys releasing this are just trying to make us cave into the pressure. I'm pretty sure, like, imagine if you're, like, on the strike line right now, standing out there in the hot-ass sun on them strike lines, on them picket lines, and you come out, wait, what? We was offered what? Oh, hey, man, I need to get on the phone with my rep, okay? I need to get on the phone with somebody. Hey, man, I'm starving out here. Like I said, I'm tired of cat food and rent is due. I need money. You guys need to get us back to work. This is absolutely ridiculous. So, of course, let's go ahead and check out the deadline comments. 187 of them joints. Here's Anonymous 2. The studios don't need this firm. Anyone with half a brain cell knows that the writers are the ones being greedy and uncooperative. They are the ones out of touch if they think most people care about their need for even more insane amounts of money for providing very little talent. These striking writers are seriously bonkers. You know, I've said this. When it comes to this is who the WGA is fighting for. They're not fighting for the talented writers. They're fighting for the untalented, the people that don't have the talent. You know, there's an old adage in business. A talent hires A talent, B talent hires C talent, right? And you say, well, why is that? Well, A talent hires A talent because iron sharpens iron. That's another old adage, okay? That they don't mind working side by side with a really talented writer. This guy's going to help me improve my writing, okay? I'm not intimidated by this person. I want this person on my team because he's going to bring out the best in me. You know, again, iron sharpens iron, that idea. But then you get to the B talent hiring C talent. And why is that? These are the cats that's like, no, I'm not really that talented. You know, I can't rest on my talent to keep my position, to be able to compete with all of these other guys. And so I better hire lesser talent than mine in order for me to always look good, always look better. Okay, well, yeah, this guy's way better than that chump that he hired, right? And that's kind of what the writers are, okay? These writers, the people they're fighting for, this little talent, this very little talent, these are the B and C talents of Hollywood, all right? They got a little bit of talent, but not enough to be able to compete on their own. And basically, they're the ones holding this whole thing up. They're the ones that's that 10th man in the writer's room that this union is fighting for. Oh, we got to make sure there's 10 people in the writer's room. Why? When we only need like 4. Oh, it's because of this very little talent that these guys are hiring. That's who the WGA is fighting for. These crappy writers that can't get the job done on their own. This is Cassandra. Rather than getting a crisis PR firm to fight the writers and the actors, they need a crisis PR firm to deal with the fact that the audience is perfectly fine not having any content from the studios right now. That the public soured on most of the content before the strikes happened in the first place, and they mainly blame the people who commissioned the lousy content they have mostly stopped watching. That people are making their own content, YouTube, Rumble, TikTok, yep, or doing their own thing more than paying for stuff that the studios are involved in, and that's unlikely to change even when the strike is done, and that will hurt the legacy of studios and executives even more than the writers and the actors. I 100% agree with this person, okay? They are on thin ice, okay? This entire, balloon is ready to burst, okay? They are on very thin ice. They need to make nice with the writers and actors and beg for a united front where all sides will humble themselves and seek to win the public back, because the studios will be the side losing the most money and unable to rebuild if their current system as they know it is over. I think the studios, you're right about that. The studios will be the ones in the gutter, okay? Because writers and actors, they'll still have the ability to go out and do things on their own if they choose to, or do independent work. All of that stuff is still going to be there. They just won't make as much money. The studios are going to collapse. I think it's going to collapse down to maybe a handful of studios, maybe, maybe 3 or 4 major studios, and then everybody else is just going to be trying to peddle independent content before they go bankrupt, Yeah, this is 100% true, okay? The Iron Age is here. It's not going anywhere. Guy, don't throw stones, trolls. Remind me again how much money the WGA and SAG-AFTRA is spending on private buses and planes for their leadership during the strike. And this guy is part of the IATSC, hangry IATSC family, looking forward to the ending of the screwing that we are enduring. Yeah, these guys are taking it in the shorts, all right? And it'll be interesting to see, because they've been standing in solidarity with the actors and the writers. It'll be interesting to see, because we saw on the previous video, I can't remember which one, but these guys said that they're going to be going on strike next year, all right? To get better wages and compensation and all of that crap too. And it'll be interesting to see if the writers and the actors stand in solidarity with these guys, or if they hang them out to dry. I'm really interested in this. Can't untrim the trees. You can't unwish the writers to be unhoused. The bullet is out of the gun. Everyone knows these anti-WGA comments are written by PR firm employees and frightened studio executives. If they really think that studio executives and PR firms are coming to deadline to prove anything, they are laughably mistaken, okay? The PR firms and the execs, they could care less. This next move, a new PR firm, has already failed. You don't hire a crisis PR firm when you are winning. I disagree. Again, I think you need a change of messaging. I agree that their messaging hasn't been there, but you just need a change of messaging. That's all. You just don't. Studios have already lost the war. This guy is completely clueless. Now they need to clean up the story as much as possible so it doesn't look like they capitulated. Good luck, but it's not the WGA's problem. A polished turd is still a turd. Best PR, pay WGA, SAG, and shut the fuck up. This guy, 9 to 14,000 a week. Give us a break. Clowns are running this union. It's a joke. 1,000%. I think I don't understand why the union released or rejected that deal. If it's not the deal you want, you take what you can get for now and you work to improve things. So in 3 years, you can go and you can get a better deal. That's what you do. All right. You don't reject a good deal and leave all of your writers out to dry. I mean, that's messed up right there. I think this move is more about what's ahead of us. Things are going to get ugly. You think it is bad now. Keep telling yourself you're the smartest person in the room. And hope it makes you feel better, but it isn't going to matter. The WGA is completely unrealistic about their demands. Winter is coming. Yeah, winter is coming, man. It'll be here in about, 3 months, It says here the WGA is completely unrealistic in their demands. Listen, I completely agree. I don't know why that they declined that last offer, I think they're not unrealistic. I think they have a stronger hand than they do. They have no hand, all right? Non-working writer because of this stupid strike. This is what needs to happen. If the AMPTP and the WGA reach a stalemate in their negotiations, the AMPTP may legally declare an impasse and automatically implement their last offer presented to the WGA. This means that the terms and conditions of the last offer made by the AMPTP would be put into effect even if the WGA has not agreed to them. I'm completely cool with that. The WGA has been too entrenched by its own messaging, and it's time for the AMPTP to just steamroll over them and appeal directly to writers We will take the current proposal. This is what I'm saying. A lot of these cats, a lot of these writers, okay, they want to take the current proposal. This person, you're not a writer, love. Hope that settles matters for you. Okay, this untrimmed the trees guy is hilarious. How the fuck do you know who they are? Yeah, you know, again, these guys are going to be called bootlickers, everything up else under the sun, all right? It says the WGA has been entrenched by its own messaging, and that's the case. These writers are only listening like in an echo chamber, so to speak, okay? They only hearing from their guys, from the union, from their people. They need the messaging. That's what the PR firm is really for. That's to get messaging out to the actual writers, the rank and file guys that can put pressure on the WGA to end the strike, all right? The actual union, they can say, hey, call for a vote, and just keep spamming their email until they finally do it. That's what I think this PR is all about. It really isn't for us. We've made up our minds or haven't made up our minds or we just don't care, you know. But when it comes to the actual writers, that's who the studios are trying to speak to. I don't think they're trying to necessarily speak to, they're going to speak to everybody and they're going to frame it in a certain way. And that might actually get guys like Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, and Variety to kind of twist it up. But I think the reality is they're trying to speak directly to the writers, okay? That's what this guy says. Hey, appeal directly to the writers, okay? We will take the current proposal. That's how I think this thing is going to end. Anyway, folks, you guys let me know what you think. I think that this strike is just going on and on and on. I think that the Writers Guild is just absolutely insane for not taking the deal that was laid out there in front of them. That sounded like an amazing deal to me, okay? And even if it wasn't the best deal possible, you take what you can get for now and you game plan for the next go round, okay? That's how you do things in this world. But, I guess they're trying to get it all right now. And I think the studios have the juice to starve them out. But in any case, you guys let me know what you think. Jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.